Hello, this is Roy Collin of the Speaking Podcast. This is episode number 6 with Krzysztof Ochman. Krzysztof is a photographer and a videographer, and he'll talk about how he creates speeches and about different things regarding speaking. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Speaking Podcast. We're also on Instagram and YouTube as Speaking Podcast, and our website is speakingpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe and give a positive review. We're also going to do a Q&A session in 2019, so if you have any questions, please be sure to write to him on roy@speakingpodcast.com. I would just like to wish you and your family a happy holiday, and we'll see you in the next episode in about 3 days' time. Thank you.
Hi, this is Roy Collin, and this is the Speakers Podcast, and today I'm joined with Krzysztof Ochman. I've met Krzysztof in the Speakers of Which Toastmasters, and he's here to tell us his story. So, welcome, Krzysztof. How are you?
Hi, I'm quite good.
So, when you came to the Speakers of Which, you were actually a fairly competent speaker.
It's not up to me to decide, but it's probably because I've always liked to be in the center of the attention, and I just really like that already, the idea of being on the stage and talking to people. So maybe it wasn't that easy as I thought, because it wasn't that easy, but I felt confident on the stage.
And you've obviously spoke before you came to the club, so what's your experience?
Well, not really. I've never speak public. Obviously, school presentation doesn't count. That's all. I'm just an extrovert, so I don't really afraid of getting people attention, of having that attention from people. Also, I'm not afraid of taking control of the social situations. So it happened for me often that when I was with a group of people and none of them knew what to do, I was the one who decided, okay, let's do that. And I've immediately cut everyone's attention, and I like that. So I like the idea. Probably that is why I was confident at speaking. Yeah.
And what was your experience with Toastmasters? Did you find, was it strange having an evaluator and things like that?
Not really. I remember that when I first came there, and I saw you actually, it was you were the weirdest person in the room, but.
Do I take that as a compliment or
sort of. You were just unordinary. Well, anyway. What was the only weird thing for me was the clapping. It was too much for me, but after the third meeting I got used to that. But the whole idea, I thought it was only speaking, and I liked that it was not only speaking, also evaluations, also the sessions with the unprepared answers, table topics. So I was surprised that it's more than just speaking, and I think it's good that it is more.
And I see at an early stage as well in the club, you took the role of Toastmaster, and for those that aren't familiar with the Toastmaster, that's basically running the meeting, and you pick a team, and you weren't afraid to do that. I see some people that are 6 months in the club or even a year and they never do that. And did you enjoy
I've enjoyed it because, as I mentioned, prepare a speech is not that easy, and talking on the stage with the prepared speech is not that easy. But being a Toastmasters is more like taking control over that social situations that I've did already. You can't really prepare to the Toastmaster role, except the first part of being the Toastmaster. You can tell a story, but later on it's just taking control of the whole meeting. And it's something I'm just good at. I don't have to prepare for that. You have to just gain the skills to feel confident and just be honest, actually, I think. to give some comments about the speech, about the evaluation, make just the whole meeting nice for the people that came. That's something that I'm probably better at than speaking.
No, I totally agree with you. I always find that at the end of the day, a good meeting is that, you know, everybody has enjoyed themselves, and I think it's the Toastmaster that can actually make the difference. And, you know, you could have great speakers, but if you can't kind of interact with the people or the speakers afterwards, and a lot of people can't, and I see that you have that ability.
Yeah, some Toastmasters, when I see their roles, they're like they want to be very professional in that. And I don't think that's the way. Maybe when you're working for some, big corporation, you want to behave like that. But I don't find a person that would enjoy such a meeting. It will be always a boring meeting if it's all professional and stuff. If you're just giving your thoughts, anything that came actually to your head in the moment that you listen to the speech, you have to take control over the meeting, and if anything came to your head, just say it, and it will be honest. People will feel more opened, people will feel more connection to you, and they will feel that they're in good place. Because if you're on the stage and you're leading the meeting and you're opened and relaxed, they will also feel that.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. And how many speeches have you kind of done to date?
I think 6. They've put this pathways, and it actually, made a little. I'm not sure now because of pathways, but I think 6.
Okay, and you mentioned that you prefer taking the Toastmaster role than the speaker. How do you prepare your speeches? What's your kind of process system?
Well, first thing is finding the topic, and I think it's the hardest thing for me. I never know what to talk about. I always feel like I could talk about myself, but it is easy for me. Well, obviously because I know the topic, but I don't want to talk only about myself, so finding the topic is the hardest thing for me. If I'll find a topic, it's actually easy to prepare it. I'll just put everything what I want to say on some paper. Prepare a mind map of some structure. What I'll always do is remember the beginning, and it is always a strong beginning and ending. And the middle story is not that important, I think. It's based on the mind map. I'm still putting too much information into that mind map, I think. I'm trying to, feel more confident. If I'll put just the topic I want to say about, I'm putting too much there, too much text, and I'm learning it still, but I'm getting better at it, so this is how I do that.
Okay, and I use the mind maps as well, and what I find sometimes I'd have the different kind of bullet points or whatever you call them, but I might forget some of them, but it doesn't once I have, as you mentioned, a good introduction, good conclusion. Has that happened to you where you've forgotten points that you had on your speech?
It happens always when I didn't do the mind map, but I did a structure, a point. It was in points. Then it happened to me. I've actually seen one lady in the Toastmasters that I've asked. She actually got stuck for 10 or 15 seconds even, and I've asked her, "How did you prepare your speech?" She showed me her papers. It was only text, a whole A4 paper of text. So I've said to her, "Well, that's no weird that you forgot about it," and she actually did much overtime. So I think mind maps are much better, and it's the right way to do that. If you'll be in the middle, and you'll see that your time is running away, you can always. It won't work.
on my very first speech was I prepared an awful lot, practice, and halfway through it, I stopped, and and it was then I realised that mind maps are for me, and it was a better system for doing it.
And was your speech about yourself?
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Icebreaker is always probably about yourself, and that's the thing I'm most confident talking about.
Yeah.
And I like all the people like to talk about themselves. I'm not different.
Well, what I found is that I have done, I think, about 40 speeches at this stage, and it was only the ones that I had to do that were kind of the special series that didn't resonate with me. The rest are all personal or something that I'm really interested in, whether it be health or business. But the ones that I had to do were my worst ones. And I remember one of the competitions that I was in, I was asking you, have you got a role? And you kind of just smirked at me and didn't tell me anything. And you were actually the test speaker for the evaluation competition. So can you maybe tell us about how it came about and what it felt like and your experience for that? That was about a year ago, maybe, was it?
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, it happened because it was supposed to be a secret that I'm the test speaker, obviously. And just Justina from our club wrote it to me, could I do that? And I've said, yeah, I'll prepare it. It was good actually to hear evaluation from 8 people. As I mentioned previously, I like the attention, so 8 people was evaluating just my speech. It was just good. I know that I prepared for the speech a little bit better than the other ones, because she would wrote to me like that there will be a lot of people there from different clubs, so don't mess it up. So I've prepared a little bit better, but I was actually stressed. I thought that if I'll put more effort into preparing, that I won't be as much stressed. But what happened there is I was stressed even more because I've put more effort into that. So I was more afraid that it won't work the way I've imagined it. Crazy, but this is how it happened.
But it was a good speech. I remember that at the time it was hard to evaluate. So it was actually, you did a good job on it. So. And will you enter other competitions, whether you do something similar, or would you actually go for a speaking competition, or at the moment the humor speeches, something like that?
I was a test speaker in the Polish club also. You haven't heard that speech, but well, that was much easier for me. It was first time speaking in Polish is my first language, and well, it was much easier to speak not in foreign language. I see that not always I can be a bad speaker. I just don't know English that well, so I could improvise on the stage. Sometimes I'm just missing a word, and I'm actually thinking about moving to a Polish club and start developing there. It is easier, and I think I could get there into a certain point that I'm confident at the stage, not afraid of people, and then move to the English club, learning English and also getting better and better at speaking, because it's like higher level speaking in foreign language. If you'll do a good speech in the foreign language, if you go to the club that is in your first language, it will be much easier. It will be like a piece of cake.
And what's your kind of end game? What's your main kind of motivation for being a good speaker? Like, how will it benefit you?
Maybe I'll just say how I ended up in the Toastmaster club. I was actually listening to an online course about hitting on chicks. I don't know jak to się nazywa.
This is hitting on chicks. It's hitting on chicks.
Hitting on chicks, but it was like not hitting something normal. How to how to get girlfriend. And a guy in that podcast actually said that what was most beneficial for him and how he lose all the afraid of talking to girls and stuff, it was by joining Toastmasters and just being there. He gained confidence, and he just said that if there's a club in your neighborhood, just join it, see, and be there, prepare speeches. So I thought, okay, I'll join. I liked the idea from the start, so I went to the first meeting with I was very excited for my first meeting, and I liked it. I've stayed. No matter what you do in life, it is always beneficial. It will always be like you did so many stuff wrong in public, in this group of people. You're really taking off the limits. You're much confident. It doesn't have to work for people that are only speaking the speeches in public. It actually affects you if you're on the street, if you're anywhere, you just want to ask something, you're thinking about should you do that, well, these thoughts will go away. If you'll do some public speaking, if you'll do roles, it's preparing you for social situations.
Who needs Tinder when you got Toastmasters?
Sort of.
What I found actually as well is like being an evaluator made you better communicator and listening skills so I think the actual roles of being an evaluator as well is another great function from the Toastmasters.
Yeah, but I can see the disadvantage. Sometimes when I'm listening to any public speak, I want to evaluate that person. I just want to go there and say to him that, hey, maybe you should do that, and I don't think that's always good. Sometimes I'm a photographer, sometimes I'm at the conference, and I can see like easy mistakes that people do. Sometimes I do that, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't stand so far from the audience. If you'll come closer, they will be much more engaged. And sometimes people, like the evaluation that I'm giving to them, not in Toastmasters. And sometimes I can see like they don't want to hear that, and they are, some kid goes to them and says them how they should do speeches. They've done them for 5 years already. They are going around the world. I've seen a lot of people that are traveling. They are representing some big company, and they are such a bad speakers.
Yeah. No, I've noticed that as well, that I'm evaluating everything, even if I'm listening to CDs or podcasts or whatever, and like if people are going,
yeah, it's working like that. You immediately started to see things like that.
Right. Another thing, like say in the Toastmaster community, they kind of tell you don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics, don't talk about sex. What's your view on that?
I don't like that. Like this is the parts of life that are important for all of us, I think. If not religion, then maybe politics. I mean, who's not interested in sex? So why I also joined and what speeches I want to do, the speaker that I'm imagining to be is this, very honest person that's not afraid to say anything, that's not afraid of other people's opinion on that, and not talking about that kind of stuff is you can get stuck only speaking about things that not as much important for you as they truly are. So you can always talk about yourself, but if you touch that topics, someone will I'm missing a word again.
get annoyed, offended?
I often get annoyed when someone is, saying me not to say such a stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care about status quo. I think that the best speaker in the world also don't care about the status quo. They are very honest, and that's the speaker I want to be in the future. So I'll probably at some point have to, start speaking in some other places, but it's understandable also that they don't want to talk about that because, well, they're just afraid of losing potential people that could come.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone mentioned to me that I shouldn't supposed to do that, they are not fine with it. So it's understandable for the Toastmasters to not to forbidden.
No, I get what you're saying. They don't. It's not approved as such. It's same with cursing. I mean, some of the best speakers I've ever heard are constantly cursing. Gary V and even Impact Terry, and yet I have seen so many people when they give an evaluation of somebody curses, they kind of give out to them because of that. And like you've seen different speakers, and I know that one of your clients actually teaches. So what have you seen, say, in him that you find that might be a benefit to the audience in his teaching of speaking skills, or anybody that you've kind of, because you go to a lot of events and everything, is there that you've picked up on that are advantageous?
I don't get the question again.
Like say your client, the physiotherapist that actually teaches other physios, you've seen him speak a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
What do you see that he's doing that's actually good? What his style is?
He's very natural at that. I was actually wondering how he, get so much confidence. He can immediately go in front of people and talk about anything. He's not preparing it at all, but well, maybe it's because he always talk about his passion. And what I've seen in physiotherapy and some different workshops with the physiotherapist, if they will start talking, there's no ending for them. They could talk and talk and talk and talk. So there's no the preparation part for it. Maybe that's why they're so confident and they are so maybe natural and in that, because they're talking about their passion. And yeah, I've seen him putting jokes in a lot of them actually, but all of them are good. They are engaging the audience, and he's not preparing them. They are always like situal jokes. He's just, something went into his head. He followed that thought, and he just said it. And well, the group is laughing. They are more engaged. They will learn more. If he would have to prepare a speech for 7 minutes about a topic different than the physiotherapy, he would probably get much worse at that. He maybe not be so stressed as he would do it first time, but I can imagine that it would be much harder for him. So probably because he's so passionate about it, he talks about his passion, it's easier for him to speak publicly.
Okay. And with your own business, would you like to actually be teaching that at some stage and maybe doing workshops teaching other people?
I think I can, combine. If you're talking to the camera, the rules are almost the same. You have to use your vocal variety, you have to speak in point, and that's what public speaking teaches you. It's different actually. I've seen good YouTubers, for example, that have more than 1 million audience, And if they would have to go to an event and do a public speech, they would be terrified. So I was surprised. I thought that talking to a camera, if so many people watches you, and for them talking publicly would be a piece of cake, but it's not. Talking to a camera and in front of the group of people, even small, is totally different for a lot of people. And yeah, but the like core of preparing something, talking, just it's basically a storytelling. Also, public speaking and filmmaking is about storytelling, so you can have really good background to making videos if you're a good public speaker. I think if you're a public speaker, you can immediately turn on the camera and feel confident in front of that. If you're making only videos, maybe seeing all your audience in front of you is different than seeing just a piece of glass worth a lot.
No, because I done the speaking, got comfortable in the speaking, then I done a project where the project was speaking on TV or speaking on video, and I found that I was good, and something that I also done as well as every single speech I've done I've recorded, and I found it's helped. But I get what you're saying.
It's good to watch yourself also. You can immediately pick up the all bad stuff that you're doing. Yeah.
Okay, and you might tell the audience what exactly you do the photography and the video, but tell them about yourself. What I should have done that at the start, but I mean I'm new to this game, so let's do it backwards and just.
I just make movies actually, and sometimes I'm a photographer, but I'm much more into filmmaking, and I'm working currently for the physiotherapist. We actually want to promote the physiotherapy around the people. A lot of people will, they will feel their back pain, and half of them will say, okay, I won't do anything with that, it probably will go away anyway. So, and the other half is going to the doctor, and like it's really hard to find a good doctor, and it's really easy to find a good physiotherapist, because physiotherapy is a little bit different than being a doctor. In physiotherapy, you have to always find a reason for anything. If you're in pain, you always have to find a reason in physiotherapy. In the medicine, it's not the same. Doctors often just cure the symptoms and don't think even about what is causing the problem. They will give you painkillers. They will not heal you, but lower the pain. They will not work on the cause, they will work on the effects. And in physiotherapy, from the start, the physiotherapist always searches the reason.
So I see we're approaching our half-hour mark, so I thank you. So how can listeners reach out to you if they'd look? Because I've actually used as some projects, and your work is fantastic. You've done some photography for me and some videos, so I'd obviously highly recommend you. So how can our listeners reach out to you if they want to?
Probably in the description of the podcast.
Then it will be in the description.
Yeah, there will be my Facebook page. And if anyone would be interested, just write to me with anything. I will be pleased.
Okay. So thanks very much for your time. It was
Thank you.
Great talking to you.